can't say no. You and I just can't say goodbye. Every time we do, well, it's just another lie. I know you're no good for me, but every time I'm with you, there's nowhere I'd rather be.
Attempting to connect to Facebook.
We've been to hell, been burned by the flames of a pain so deep that even the strongest God in the heavens would kneel and weep. But here I lie, pressed against your skin, right where I wanna be. You're the sweetest sin. You and I just can't say goodbye. Every time we do, well, it's just another lie. I know you're no good for me, but every time I'm with you, there's nowhere I'd rather be.
Affecting transition to the live systems. Gird your loins, because Pax Stereo is about to go live. That's right. Getting ready to transition to live. Victor, all systems a go. I'm raising the reflector shields. Alexa, good morning.
I, Alexa of the house Amazon, first of the blue light ring, the plugged-in, mother of dad jokes, and companion to all, am here to bid you good morning. And to herald that 22 years ago today, A Game of Thrones was first published.
Yes, well, you bad girl. Come on, let's do this thing. Everybody, time to stretch. Time to move. Shake your hips. Vibe with it. Too soon. Move the chair.
Yeah, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too smooth. Yeah, let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it. Be cool, just move with the groove. Let's go. No funk in here, the beat way too smooth. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, unleash the verbal blessing, prolific with herbal lessons. So kick back, chill, relax, and learn a lesson. No 9mm, no heaters, or Smith & Wesson. You'll find this rhyme secure without question. This time, let's vibe one time without weapons and groove through the music in the school session. This time, let's vibe one time without weapons and
Come on.
The beat to me like sap to a tree. You send me, the rap happens to set me free. Instantly when the mic touch this MC. Without the mic this MC feel empty. I'm telling y'all, it's the lyrical recipe, lyrical ecstasy. Hearing no less from me, I accept and expect no less than the best. And inject intellect without disrespect. Come on, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too smooth. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe, yeah, vibe, yeah. Cool, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too smooth. Let's just do what we came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it. It's like an epidemic, pop star gimmick. Get it, then realize that you in it and you're finished. Whole dream diminished. See, I play the season, y'all have a scrimmage. I spit with reason, y'all hit the image. But I believe the dream has no limits. I believe that's the whole reason we live it. But they don't get it, they like it's not right, is it? No visit, hip-hop here to stay, no shizit. We gonna get it, new improved music, move and groove with it. Choose who you get with. I smack rap like this do hoes. My flow hard like Dick, get the skimpy clothes on individuals when anything goes. The player pick 'em like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Got soul, got so much funk up in the rap, I should pack a fat bowl. Y'all should kick back, relax, and just roll. Roll with me, vibe with me. Roll with me, vibe with me. Roll with me, come on and vibe with me. Hip hop ain't dead, just keep it alive with me. Cool, be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too smooth.
Let's just do what we came to do.
Just vibe. Let's just do what we came to do. Just
Come on. Come on.
Be cool, just move with the groove. No funk in here, the beat way too smooth.
So it's a long
what we
version.
came to do. Just vibe with it, vibe with it.
Yes. Lights out the body heat. Hey, good morning, everybody. Where's the? Okay, so with my back issues, which we're going to talk about today, I can still move. I just can't do it very long. That was a work. That was like the most movement I've done in 6 months. Lord.
You want to take a break?
No, man. Okay, y'all, welcome to Pax Stereo Morning Coffee. We did the old intro this morning because it was a special broadcast. I'm telling you, y'all, shoot, shit. Hopefully more. Oh, was your mic up?
No, that's okay. I get to talk about people. I get to sit back and eyeball people. You know, that's all right. See, he forgot about a brother.
I got it now.
He forgot about a brother. That's okay.
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, hey, look. No, it was good, man. You did a good job. You did a good job, man. I appreciate it.
Still fixing stuff, you guys. So welcome to
Great
Morning
job.
Coffee. I'm going to catch my breath. Hi to Facebook, hi to all the folks at Facebook, all the folks at Twitch, Periscope. You know, Vic, I'd remind everyone that this is an ongoing experiment. Vic goes, they don't care. I want you to care. I want you to care. These are all the places we're streaming to right now. YouTube, in both events and the 24/7. And I'm getting ready to start the 360 cameras in a little bit.
All right.
We got Twitch from Pax Stereo. We got my Facebook, your Periscope,
Right.
your Twitch,
Got you.
my Periscope, my Twitch. So everybody is connected. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 outlets going right now. And as soon as I start the 360, we will be streaming to 12 outlets simultaneously. So welcome, everybody. It's a great day in the neighborhood. Thank you for hanging with me. I had to catch my breath. I'll be doing that. I don't have time like that. You know, it's like I got about
It's all right,
4
man.
minutes, man.
It's all right, man. It's good. That's
2
good.
more than normal.
Yeah. Look, the problem is will you do it again soon?
It may be a while.
Yeah, you're not going to do it again soon, brother.
Well, welcome to the special broadcast. Today is a special broadcast, you guys, because the theme is different. We have an alternate theme because this is a very special week for me. I'm undergoing the knife on Wednesday, and so we're going to talk a little bit about the surgery and about spinal stenosis, which is what I'm having the surgery on my back for. And I'm going to use this. I got some wonderful visual aids. Wonderful visual aids to assist in this process of your edification. And we can make it fun. And so as part of that, it's going to be a special broadcast. And then in part 2, we're going to have a little conversation as I reflect, because these weeks like this, when you have stuff going on, it makes you reflect. Makes you reflect and think deep. So I've been reflecting and interacting with some of the friends and family of mine have got me reflecting even more. So we're going to talk a little bit about why we are who we are.
What?
At Pax Stereo. Why we are who we are and how that reflects on my life. And I'm going to do something I call Remembering Conversations with My Father. Now, that's a series I got coming up. I have 3 parts of it. It's Remembering Conversation with My Father, Remembering Conversation with My Mother, and Remembering Conversation with people I love. Or love. I still haven't looked well. And so today we're going to have a little bit of that. And so I want to thank you all for tuning in. We got that stretch. So those of you who enjoyed that intro, that was the original, the one we used for years. That was the morning coffee introduction that you saw. And man, again, by Love Shadow.
It was good.
The Be Cool intro, man. All right, so you guys, as we do every week, I got a few different things. For those of you who are, first of all, around the country, quick updates. People still having heat waves, fires still burning in Los Angeles. And man, we just, again, our prayers and our best wishes go out to people. People are losing homes. And I remember my family being impacted and my father's house burning up in that Baldwin Hills fire.
Yeah.
Was that 85? Well, I think it was.
I thought it was early, but you may be right.
Huh?
Was it before 85?
Because maybe he came over and moved in here.
Yeah. You said 85.
Maybe it was a little before that.
Yeah,
huh?
I thought it was a little before.
A little before that. But yeah, so I know we, at least as a family, we were affected and lost. When you lose things in a fire, it's very decimated. You know, I guess you don't think about all the little things that mean so much to you, the little mementos and pieces of things from people that you don't even realize are gone for a while. So we want to send our prayers out to them and say, hey, we hope that that things get better. We know that things will get better for your family, and you're in our prayers. So again, today we have a special broadcast. Look at this, we getting hard. So it's going to be kind of interesting. We're going to do a broadcast hopefully next week, Monday, the same, because the interesting thing, that's why I wanted to dance for you guys this morning, because I wanted you to see the movement. Now, if you look closely at that video, I was making some faces.
That's right.
You just have to look close. I was making some faces, because when you have a back problem, that twisting your hips in a heathen rhythm shit.
Heathen? Oh, dang, you're using
That's
old
right, twisting your hips in a heathen rhythm.
Heathen. It's unbelievable. He's using the heathen. Wait a minute. I thought he was communicating good time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that dance I was doing, the forbidden dance, that shit hurts. So, so I can only do, but I wanted to show you at least that I have some movement. That's why I can do this morning coffee. I have a good chair.
Right.
And so this week I'm going to be having surgery for spinal stenosis. Now, a lot of people going like, wow, back surgery, man, isn't that terrible to have that? Shouldn't you try to not have that? Well, first of all, everybody should try not to have surgery any damn way. Any kind of surgery. You should only have surgery if you really need surgery.
Right.
But today's world is different, Vic. It's different, Vic. So what you guys never realize is that Victor and I, based on the way we do this show, at most we give each other hints. If we have something like Victor, I said, Vic, we're going to do a special broadcast. We're not going to do all the regular stuff. It spares him some work.
Right.
And all that. So, but we didn't go into all the detail, right? I just said, Vic, I'm going to do this thing, but talk about my back.
Ouch. Yeah.
Talk about some of the stuff about us. So this is where you get to see how we do our regular interaction, because Vic doesn't necessarily know all about spinal stenosis.
No, I don't.
So you have any questions, Vic, as I do this, feel free, of course, to ask me the questions, because the idea is to make people understand it, okay, and why you do it. So spinal stenosis is my diagnosis, and I'm going to have surgery for that. And let me tell you a little bit about spinal stenosis. Okay, first of all, it's a disease that affects the spinal column, more often in the lumbar region, okay, which is the lower back. The lower back where people feel, let me turn this off. See, Vic, the other one's ringing? Mm-hmm. That's what the bad thing is. Okay, gotta put it on. So spinal stenosis, I went to go look because I don't necessarily have this kind of information sitting on the tip of my tongue, and I wanted to look and see what was the prevalence of spinal stenosis. So they say about approximately 250 to 500,000 U.S. residents suffer from this, okay? They say approximately one, this is the latest in March from Medscape, which is a place that I use for my continuing medical education as a physician. And there's a good source of information. The doctors use it. So anyway, this is Medscape, and so they say the spinal stenosis right now, remember these things change too. Statistics like this you don't never take them in stone, because as you do better survey techniques, Vic, things like that penetrate different communities, and the statistics get changed as you reach people.
Right.
So that's part of it. As you get better at surveying people, and you institute the monies to pay for surveys, like to ask the people,
it changes.
Then you get the information.
Right.
See, mostly they don't pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, spinal stenosis, they say, is about 1,000 people older than 65, and about 5 out of every 1,000 people older than 50. Okay? Okay, they say that approximately, let me make sure. They say so. The percentage of those who end up with nerve entrapment, that means pinched nerves, it ranges. It's about 10%. Okay, all right. But that nerve pinching is what it counts for. So I have some wonderful visual aids about this stuff. Now I was diagnosed with this back in 2007. And it was done on an MRI, CT scan. They did a couple of things to take a look. And I was diagnosed back then. So let me tell you what I have. Here's a wonderful visual aid. So here's the lumbar region of the spine, okay? It's 5 vertebrae, okay? This is your sacrum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 5 lumbar vertebrae. L3, 4, and 5 on me are the ones that are affected. Okay? See if I can make this frame a little better. Well, we'll see. I'm trying to make it full. There we go, full screen. Okay. So this is where I'm most affected. Because of the spinal stenosis, my stuff has been collapsing, my spine, slowly. Those 3 vertebrae. Mm-hmm. Enough that I've lost almost 2 inches in height. Okay? From the time that this started. Okay? So, that's, man, I'm trying to function. My keyboard won't do the stuff. There you go. Okay. So, first of all, that's where I'm affected. And again, this lumbar region is the part of you that's often most affected. Now, here's a view from another angle, from the side. This is your spine from the side. Okay? So, these spaces, what they would call an interlaminar space, is where your nerves pass out of your spinal column. Okay, and I have another angle for this just quickly. See it from this view? Mm-hmm. Here's your spinal column, right? Right. Here's these nerves coming off. And notice how they pass between the bones. Right. Okay? Okay, this is your spinal column. Here's the nerve roots passing between the bones. Now, if you go back to this view, here it is, the space. Okay. Okay, when you get a disc that is bulging, this is the example right here of a disc that is bulging. Mm-hmm. See how it pushes into that space? Yep. When it does that, it's pushing on those nerves. Here's a herniated disc, where the disc has ruptured its contents moving backwards. You can see how it can obstruct that space. Right. So that's why herniated discs have what? More pain.
Yes.
Okay, here's an example of a disc getting thin. See how here's a normal, nice, thick disc, which are the pads between your bones. Okay, they're like the pads. As you get old, they dry out, they become less flexible. Here's an example of an older disc in a person where the disc is thinning. Okay?
Right.
Now, coming down here is what you sort of get to see what sort of my stuff would be. It would be basically disc degeneration.
Right.
It breaks down and almost goes away. New bone formation.
Right.
You develop bone spurs in that. With occlusion, see the space?
Right.
See what is happening to these spaces? Okay, so with spinal stenosis, take a look here. This is what my stuff would do. See, normally that space that would be there,
Right.
instead of having a nice hole, you have all this bone collapsing down on the nerve.
Got it.
And you get new bone growth.
Growth while that's happening.
So you can get bone spurs and stuff pushing on the nerve too.
It's
So-
like domino effect.
So I have fairly severe disease, okay, of L3, L4, and L5. Not so bad at L3.
Right.
Pretty good at L4 and bad at L5.
Right. Got it.
Okay, so as you come down, it's bad.
And-
Leading me to have symptoms like persistent pain down the pain that goes down my leg. I'm so used to it, you guys. It feels like a dull ache. It goes down my leg and to my foot. Okay, and I have persistent pain in my right buttock. That's more irritating. It's my right buttock like aches constantly. There's a numb spot in the middle of my back because of the nerve compression. There's a big numb spot in the lower back that's all numb because the nerves that come out from there are some
Right.
of the nerves that are being pinched.
Got it.
So much like that when I take a shower and put the water on that lower back, it feels like when your foot's asleep.
Oh, got it. Got it. I
You
see
feel
what you're
that
saying.
tingling, that
Right.
kind of weird tingling that
Yeah.
you don't like. It's not pain, but it's not
It's not
pleasant.
it's caught in between.
Yeah, it's like a weird tingle. Well, that's
Yeah.
what my back feels like when water stuff rolls over it. So, that's spinal stenosis. Okay? Now, what do? Now, here's what's so funny, you guys. In medical school, first year you do gross anatomy. One of the things they have you do in gross anatomy, you start out with a cadaver that you dissect for a year. So you have a body, starts out face down with a cloth tied over the face, and you dissect this body for a year. And one of the first things you do is start on the back. So one of the first things they show you as you're dissecting the back, and you get down to the spine and all that, is they show you how they used to do a laminectomy,
Okay.
which horrifies every medical student. They actually had us with chisels and hammers, hammering out on either side of the spine of the cadaver, hammering out.
Not
And we're
good.
thinking of that they do this to people.
Wow.
Now they have different tools and it's done a whole different way. I want you to get those reflections. But they had us on our cadavers do a laminectomy is one of the things to teach us. And we had hammers and chisels on both sides of that spine to open up those spaces. What they do now, Vic, they have, first of all, very extensive nerve monitoring so they don't injure the nerve.
Right.
Okay, they monitor it electrically
Right.
through nerve activities because we have those kind of sensors now. They can put a sensor in a nerve and tell what stuff is passing through, not,
Right. Right.
So they do a lot of different, and they use a different tool. These little grinding tools that you see today that are so fine for arts and crafts and
Right.
stuff, little grinding tools. So what they do, see, here's the example. I got these wonderful visual aids. So here's the example. So here's where that compressed nerve is, right? Coming through.
Right.
They grind all this off, Vic. They open it up. They grind this off like all along here. They don't dig all down into it. It's like if you imagine you have a tunnel,
Right.
and you're shaving off the roof of the tunnel,
Right.
so it's open like this. You know, you got an area like this, it's all collapsed, and you sort of shave off the top of it to give it all more space.
Makes sense.
So that's what they're going to do on both sides of me. They're going to go to L3,
Right.
L4, and L5.
Right.
And we already know that L5 is just a fused mess.
Right.
In other words, they were initially thinking of putting stabilizing rods in my back, but when they did all the studies, there was so little motion in my back. The lower part is fused.
Got it.
So they said, you don't need rods.
Okay. Okay.
You don't need rods.
All right. Wow.
They said, because in other words, Vic, it won't do the other stuff.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Let's just say you've seen there are circumstances where people go, well, you know, I'm not able to get the care and treatment that you're explaining, and if I just go without treating it, what will progressively happen?
Well, the dangers are numerous. One, the first thing is you have constant pain.
Right.
And that affects you. Depending on what your lifestyle is like, you could have the sharp pains going down your leg. I have a dull ache.
Got
So
it.
I can, you know, you're around me. I'm not complaining of pain usually. And what they told me is that I was very used to moving with pain.
That's what I'm saying.
They said my thing was if it wasn't like hitting me, I could deal with it, you know. So, but you could have a sharp pain. So if you do nothing, it tends to be progressive. It tends to be progressive. You know, I put it this way. I tell people, it's not something that gets better with age. There's very few things out there that get better with age. And this isn't better with age. Imagine if you have all the other stuff. Now, fortunately for me, I also had previous lumbar muscle spasms. Before I had any of this, Vic was there the day my back went out. And I had severe muscle spasms. Totally unrelated to this diagnosis, Vic.
Right.
So, yeah, if this would progress to you have persistent pain, the other part of it, which was also a concern with me, was that as you get nerve compression, which it shows up on the scans that the nerves are inflamed, and there was a potential with further compression that I might have an effect on bowel and bladder control.
You see where I'm going.
So
Yeah.
people lose bowel and bladder control
Right.
sometimes because of progression of diseases like this.
That's where I was going.
The other thing that makes it bad in a lot of instances is people tend to wait. Remember, it's people who are older. So
Right.
I think the average surgical patient is like 70. I don't know. I mean,
Wow.
the issue is they tell you if you're going to get it, please try to get it early as you can.
Right.
Because as you're older, it's a surgical risk. The rehab from this, because you have to rehab. Mostly what you're rehabbing to me is because you've had back pain so long, you ain't been moving, you got total muscle atrophy.
Right.
So I look good, but I have like total muscle atrophy. But I was able to get up and dance, but I could do like 4 minutes of that. So I can manage to walk into places, but I need to sit down.
Right.
So that's the reason why I'm doing it. I've been avoiding it for a long time. I've had persistent symptoms since December. I had talked to them about it. I had a consultation over a year and a half ago just to discuss it. And, we basically said, I'm going to observe what my symptoms are and decide.
Right.
Now that I'm 62 and I'm actually I'm doing this because I'm planning for 72. I don't know about no 82s. But let's just say I would have given myself the best chance to get to 72 with the best movement and all those things. So that's why I'm doing this now at 62, to make sure that those years will be reasonable, and you look at it funny. I know I was thinking to myself, if I have 20 years less, Vic and I had this discussion, if I have 20 years left to go, the best of those 20 years is the next 5. There's no other way to look at it. If you live another 20 years, The next 5 years are the best years. You're healthiest. You ain't gonna get better with time.
Right.
But forget all that other bullshit. You're not gonna get better with time.
Well, everybody knows, man. That after 40, you're doing everything you can to kind of maintain a consistency and not degrade, or everything gets worse. We know that.
Well, I wanted you guys.
You're just trying to not go like this.
Yeah.
Let me just say it. No disrespect. You don't want to go fuck the world and just let. You just.
Well, that's
really
what
wanna,
a lot of people see. That's why we're having this conversation, right?
Right.
Because everybody talks about Vic and him maintaining his shape and what he does and the things, but we talk about the mentality of the consciousness, because you have to do stuff if you want to live. See, this is a physician talking to you now.
What's up, Chester?
I'm a 30-year pediatric hospitalist. I was a hospitalist before there were hospitalists. I took care of the inpatients. After I finished my training at LA County, where I ran the ICU as faculty. Okay, the pediatric ICU. Then I joined Kaiser, where I was I did all the hot stuff, all the inpatient. I didn't work, like a day-to-day. I was part of the quintuplet team when we did it at Woodland Hills Kaiser. I did the hot stuff. So I know you're getting the opinions of a doctor making decisions for himself. And the motivation for me doing this is to help folks. In part 2 of this show, when we talk about who we are and why we do what we do, that's where Vic and I are going to actually talk. I'm going to tell you some stuff about who we are, and I love the fact that I'm going to have Vic here to give you his impression of how those journeys went to. So that's why we're doing this. This is actually meant to be empowerment, because so many of you out there have the back problems. So it's so common, and I want you to be aware of the reasoning that I use for making these decisions. Ideally, it'll be helpful to you. That's the reason I do it. I think I'm doing it because ideally it will be helpful to you, and also will make you less afraid of being an active participant in your own health care, which is I adamantly push you to do. So that's what's coming up this Wednesday. This Wednesday, I'm going in, and they're going to give me the happy juice.
That's right.
Okay? I got to have a Foley. That's the only jacked up thing. They say, what's a Foley? A catheter in my penis. Because, see, remember, I told you I did intensive care. So you like to monitor urine output as a sign of stabilization. Like, example, in the kids, we would like to see 2 cc's per kilo per hour of urine coming out as a drip. If you let people wait to pee, you don't know during that time how much urine you're putting out. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If I got to wait an hour for you to pee, I don't know if I got good urine output or not urine output. So you would put in a catheter so that the urine can drain and be measured every hour, because you want to ensure approximately 2 cc's per kilo per hour of urine output. Mm-hmm. Maintain. That's part of managing shock, where the system's in shock and you got to maintain consistent perfusion of those kidneys. And you do adjust fluids and do things. Just a quick medical lesson, intensive care. You're adjusting fluids to maintain that output. And you would hate to give the wrong fluids and find out the patient had a bunch of urine output that you didn't know, like their bladder's up to here for some other reason, and you didn't know. So these are all the ways you monitor. So I have to have a Foley. And I have to stay in the hospital for 2 days because they have to fit you with a brace that I have to wear for 6 weeks. Now, the reason they keep you is really to train you to use the brace, because they want you to wear the brace for 6 weeks, no twisting motion. I'm planning on decorating my brace like Iron Man. I already got some of the paint supplies.
No opinion.
I got the light. I got the light for the chest, right? I got the light Vic. Mm-hmm. I'm going to decorate my back brace. And so they're going to keep me in 2 days. Now, because I have been in the hospital before, because believe it or not, I had a previous admission with a stroke, and I had 2 shoulder surgeries. Man, I'm telling you, falling apart. Thank you. I know I look good. Thank you. Hospital, you go crazy sitting up there. They got cable, MSNBC and CNN. I can watch Trump's ass in recovery. That'll really make me feel better. But anyway, you don't have to watch that stuff. You can watch the Disney Channel, Dancing with Wolves for the 15,000th time. But I want you to know, I'm taking me some marijuana supply products.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
I ain't bullshitting. I'm gonna have enough weed in there.
Knew it was coming, bro.
I got.
He's
First
already
of all, I
there.
got like 12 vapes.
Say,
So I'm taking at least 5 vapes with me up in there, and about 4 packages of edibles. So I'm gonna have it. I learned my lesson last time because Victor will know. When I was in there with that stroke, and I was feeling pretty good, except I had all that shit on me, which is shit I use. But I had people I know taking care of me, and it was still driving me crazy. I had to call up my friend Celeste. Thank you, baby. She loves me. Celeste, I said, Celeste, you got to go by the house and pick up them edibles.
he's
I called Vic. I said, Celeste coming by.
Get it ready.
Get this, get my stuff out.
Yeah, get it ready.
And Celeste came and got my edibles, and I had that stuff up in the hospital, y'all. And then all of a sudden, that shit got bearable. Because, even if you're not in pain, sitting around there all day, it's like, tick, tock, tick, tock,
It's wrong, man.
tick, tock. That's the only reason why some people need visitors, because they got that tick, tock. I didn't need visitors necessarily. Well, I did. But I really needed weed. I needed weed. I enjoyed visitors, but I needed weed. So, and it made it so much better to have the marijuana products. I was in the hospital where I worked for 30 years, and that night, one of my co-workers who had worked by my side for damn near 20, I don't know, years,
Right.
she came by to visit me because she was starting her shift. She came by to visit me. She said, she's talking to me. She said, are you high?
So yeah, read the symptoms, right?
I said, yeah. She said, how you getting high up in here? I said, edibles.
Yes, Jack.
Because it was edibles then. I didn't have vapes. It was edibles. She said, ain't that some shit? And I had a drawer next to me full of food. See, that's what's bad. And I love my nurses. See, my nurses are loyal to me. So I was like telling them, they were coming by to see me, and I was like, bring me a chili dog tonight.
Oh, so they're enabling it.
Yes, they're enabling me because I'm their favorite doctor.
Right.
Yes, Dr. Hemsley, I will bring you a chili dog. Extra onions? I say, just like I like. Extra onions. Bring me a chili dog tonight. Diabetes be damned. Bring me some shit. So I want you to know, I'm going in Wednesday. They're supposed to call and tell me what time. They're going to give me the happy juice. They're going to open up them spaces on both sides, L3, whatever they see is the most tight. I'm going to be in there for 2 days. Might be back out on Friday or Saturday. We plan on broadcasting Monday. Vic and Celeste going to come get me. Celeste going to come get you. Because I can't have, I love you, Celeste, but you have your old girlfriends take care of you.
Wait a minute.
They drive you crazy. I'm not saying it's the truth.
Wait a minute.
I love you.
Wait
But
a
when your
minute.
old girlfriends take care of you after you
No,
sick,
no.
they drive you crazy.
So I'm not
Celeste
there.
will drive me crazy.
So I'm not there
I
because
love
you
her.
need. You're throwing a block at Celeste.
I want her. I know she was telling me. I said Victor's gonna come because I was like,
wrong.
Vic's my buddy. I said, Vic, I know. So I hate to, put something on you, but I need someone to change this bandage. It's a big ass bandage. You just pull off one bandage, put on another bandage. But see, if you have an old girlfriend do that, then they gonna come and it's be all the extra shit.
Oh,
you gotta
man.
order some food.
You know she's watching this. You know
I know
that, right?
she is.
So you're trying to send it out.
I'm saying I love her, but she knows because she loves me so much, it'll drive me crazy. So I'm saying I have. See, at least I'm a man who. I have old girlfriends who still love me, and they want to look out for me, and they do, and that's wonderful because that's by the grace of God. It's wonderful.
She may call me.
Since they still drive you crazy like they did back in the day.
What she's gonna do is this: she's gonna drop by and say, "Vic, Mario just sent me a message saying
I talked about her on the
you
video.
don't have to come," and then she's gonna bring one of her girlfriends with her.
She know better than to do that shit. I
Oh,
told
wait a
her.
minute.
I told her.
Wonder if she's fine.
I said, Celeste, Victor got to change the bandage, okay? So they want to talk to Vic. It's real simple. It's just one goddamn bandage.
Wait a minute,
Excuse
wait a
me.
minute.
They just pull the bandage off, put the bandage on. That's
Watch
all I
this.
need. All's it.
It's the same thing. She's gonna bring a girlfriend that's fine as hell.
Oh, well, then that's okay.
See, this is
That
what
keeps
I'm
the
saying.
blood flow. That'll save me $10.
So Celeste, you have the recipe.
Celeste is old as me. She ain't got the...
You got the recipe, girl.
Whatever. This is my... Anyway,
right.
this is my thank you for taking
Hey.
care of me. Because you know what it was? They were upset with me because I was taking an Uber to the hospital. But I said, you taking an Uber? First, okay, they just got to drop you off. They're not even going to get to go in and sit with you or nothing. Once you get there, they're going to take you into the pre-op, get you undressed. It takes like an hour to get the... They're going to get you undressed, tag you up, put the shit on you, check your blood pressure, check your sugar, check all this stuff, type everything in the computer, report to the... It takes an hour before they even give you any happy juice. So taking somebody to the hospital for surgery is like dropping people off at the airport. Why bother going in? That's what I'm saying now. Exiting is different. They won't let you exit on your own. Even if you have Uber, you got to have an attendant.
Right.
You know, so Celeste is supposed to come and get you
Right.
and bring you to the hospital to get me.
I understand the whole thing.
Now, I will say this to some of my female friends. If you feel sorry for me, 62, struggling with the surgery, you could come by the hospital in a very revealing dress
Okay.
and maybe have a wardrobe accident from a distance. I mean, you can stand back from the bed, just flash a titty. Just flash a
Oh,
titty.
you just took the program to another
I'm
level.
just saying.
So, okay, you know
I'm
what?
gonna be a
You
man
have
in the
people feeling
hospital
sorry
after
for
back
you?
surgery.
So
Can you flash me a titty?
The Me Too
I don't even
movement.
need to touch nothing. I just need to see
His
something.
email is Mario at. Okay,
I'm saying
Me Too
I'm an old
movement
man.
is going to be targeting you.
If back surgery, you can't come in and flash me a titty.
Okay.
What do you care?
Watch what happens.
Be generous with your
Watch
titties.
what happens. That's
I'm just
it.
saying. Help
Okay.
her. See, this will tell me if
You
really
you
care.
just took this wonderful story of
Because-
what I'm going through and then said, "Flash your titty."
I'm saying
I can't believe that.
they're gonna bring you flowers.
Disqualification.
But think about it, Vic. See, this is another example where people give you what they want you to have. They don't give you what you
What's up,
want.
Big Vince?
So they'll bring you some flowers, but you
Big
really
Vince?
want to see a titty.
Who got?
So I'm just saying.
No, man.
If I'm in the
just trying to
hospital
help you, man.
Recuperating.
I'm
Remember, I'm
just-
62. That's all I say. If I'm in the hospital
Imagine it.
recuperating,
Right. Somebody's going
I'm
to grab
62.
this part of the video
Thrill my ass.
and say, "Let me give you an
Thrill
idea
my
what
ass.
Pax Stereo's philosophy is," and they're going to do a mashup of the T word constantly going. That's what he's about. You can't use 62, man. The new you can't use it no more.
Why not? Because
You
I
can't.
did that dance,
No,
huh?
you can't
See,
use
just
that.
because I did that dance, that's why I did the dance at the beginning of the show.
Right.
Just because I did that dance for 4 minutes, you're like, he ain't that bad. He ain't that. I'm bad.
No,
That's why don't be expecting me to do no hip shaking for you.
don't
Telling
even
people,
try
that's
it,
why
man.
I'm telling you, these young girls keep hitting on me.
Are you
like-
Are you complaining?
I'm saying, I tell them, don't be expecting shit.
Oh, so you're blocking?
I'm telling them because they're persistent.
He's blocking.
They're persistent. They say, you don't look like you have any problems with nothing. I said, well, I got about 4 good minutes of hip shaking.
Hey, look, you know what? See,
I got
can't
other
go there.
skills, though, Vic.
First,
I
we
got
got
other
to stay.
skills.
First of all, since this
I
is
got
like
other skills.
this is not an empowerment to say, hey, women, you're going to get a better me. That's what you're supposed to be saying.
Oh,
for
yeah,
the
that's what it
backstage.
is. That's what I
supposed
meant.
to be back is going to make me a better me.
It's going to be a better me.
There you go.
That's right. See, that's why Vic is so wonderful in his role here.
Right.
You
That's
know,
jacked up.
you got to have that because I'll be slipping in the darkness.
Right.
So, what can I say?
Yeah.
Okay, we need to have a musical break. And then we're going to come back and do part 2 of the show. It's not going to be all about the surgery. And part 2 of the show is about who we are and why we are what we are. I don't remember. I wrote it down on the website. Where is it?
Wait a minute.
Who we are.
The people are
excuse
leaving.
Me, why we are.
You guys are going to leave.
No, because I'm going to have some conversations. It's going to be interesting. I want you want to know the impetus.
Wait. Who we are. They already know who we are.
I'm going to explain how while we was chasing women, it wasn't really
back
me.
To that.
It was more Vic. It was really more Vic, Michael York, Bobby Carson.
You know what, Mario? Here's the rule of
thumb. It was all y'all decadent, dog, dirty. They was my friends. They was nasty.
Only drop names that people can go actually see.
They can go check them on Facebook.
Social media.
Dwayne Jones.
So I want you to understand. They're married. The people he's talking about are part of decades ago.
I'm revealing it now. I'm revealing it's going to be in my tell-all.
I tell you what, I'm going to help him out. Do this. He says, let me show you some of the fine women I dated back then. Because nobody won't care about the guys if they're not up.
I'm not sure. I'm going to.
See?
I'm going to show you.
Nobody's going to care.
Nobody. You want me to bring out some big pictures of mine?
No, I'm just saying it's all relative. You showed the back. You're right. You threw Celeste under the bus. Celeste, but now who we are, and they go, well,
Celeste used to go out. When she needed money, she would go out to clubs and win the pretty leg contest and shit.
Oh,
she would just know. That's how sure they would go. They would take enough to pay admission and get one drink.
Show Celeste's picture back in the day.
I don't have Celeste's picture back in the day because I don't want you to have both hands in your pockets when you're not counting change.
See,
I'm just saying. Some of mine, you know what's even with me? I got exes of mine that have befriended each other on Facebook and shit. I went to look at one of my exes and she was all buddied up with other exes of mine. I'm like, what the hell?
And does that
the hell
is that a good thing?
I don't know. They
see.
Because there's no I Hate Mario's group out there.
How do you know?
They would have said I hate you.
Maybe they keep it to themselves.
You know what mostly they say? He was a good boyfriend, but he cheated on me.
I want to see quotables.
But I was young. But you know, of course, Vic never did shit. So while he's over there,
I never said that.
Okay, because I just want you to know that's
why
they talk about me. Of course, none of my nasty ass friends ever did anything wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Vic
deferring.
Was perfect.
No, you're blaming them. You're blaming.
You know, he ain't said shit about him.
No,
Vic was running through some women too. So I want y'all to know. I'm telling all of my books.
I'm in a better place.
Yeah,
I'm in a better place. I'm just saying that. I'm in a better place. Can you feel me? All right, man.
Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to play one slideshow and then play the music from a different track. Because I'm into this other track. I'm really into this other track. So I want to play this other track. You know, what do you mean? Y'all done paid to get in here? God damn. People are like, you gonna set up the shit? I said, yeah, I'm gonna play, you're gonna like it. I'm gonna play one song and show another song. Because the song is called 247.
Now, will the subject that we're going to be doing, or actually covering, is it going to spotlight this energy where people go like, oh wow, we're about to get something?
Because you guys ask for a lot of shit.
Because this last area right here is going to generate some buzz because what you did with Celeste.
Celeste. Okay, let me tell you, before y'all get, I'm going to say this is the truth, because I try to share meaningful things with you people. Yeah. And I have people's permit. I ask my friends before I expose them, because a bunch don't want to be exposed, and you don't get to see pictures of me with them. But Celeste is my friend, my buddy, and you know what she told me? I've known her for a long time. And she told me, she said, you know what? I'm proud that I was in your life. I'm proud that we were lovers. I don't have any problem with people knowing that. And I almost cried. Because we are really close friends. She knows I would do almost anything for her. She's always looking out for me. That's why she's bugging the shit about this hospitalization.
That's why
she's bugging the shit out of me, because she loves me. So that's my friend. I'll say it. I have her permission.
And she said, I don't need anyone else.
She actually gonna love seeing this shit. She gonna love being mentioned and all that. You know, that's what they are. That's how they get.
Right.
That's how they get. That's how y'all get.
That's right.
You better mention me all I went through with your ass. I said, will you please not start reminiscing about what you went through with my ass? We'll be right back to start part 2. Watch this video, but listen to this song. Pax Stereo.
Special show.
Hey baby, won't you slow me right down? Come and sit here next to me. You know there's something I just gotta say. I've been trying to find the right words to say this honestly. So moment I can find a way. 'Cause I've been going crazy just thinking of you. You must be so tired, spending all your time running through my mind. I guess that I'm addicted to all that you do. I could call it love, I don't say enough about me and you. Every minute, every hour, every day, 247 got a hold on me. There's no better way that I could ever say it. 247 got a hold on me. I'm telling time for you good every day. 247 got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me. So baby, won't you take a look at me? Can't you see I'm all tied up? Because I'm begging you for your touch, asking you for your hand. And I know that they're only words to you, and just words are not enough. But if you give it time and son, I know you'll understand. 'Cause I've been going crazy just thinking of you. You must be so tired, spending all your time running through my mind. I guess that I'm addicted to all that you do. I could call it love, I don't say enough about me and you. Every minute, every hour, every day, 247 got a hold on me. There's no better way that I could ever say it. 247 got a hold on me. I'm telling time for you good every day. 247 got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me. Cause I've been going crazy just thinking of you. You must be so tired, spending all your time running through my mind. I guess that I'm addicted to all that you do. I could call it love, I don't say enough about me and you. Every minute, every hour, every day, 247 got a hold on me. There's no better way that I could ever say it. 247 got a hold on me. I'm telling time for you good every day. 247 got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me. Every minute, every hour, every day, 247 got a hold on me. There's no better way that I could ever say it. 247 got a hold on me. I'm telling time for you good every day. 247 got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me.
Sights out the body heats. Hot Picks of the Week slideshow animation featuring our own hot chocolate, Miko Williams, Victor Allen. Rub his head, make a wish. They call him Sexual Chocolate.
haven't heard anyone say any reference to that.
I remember Danielle was the first to tell us. She exposed what was going on online.
I'm glad.
And the women called it sexual trafficking. I don't know nothing about it. Melt
Funny.
your mouth, not in your hand.
Right.
Hey, everybody. It's a wonderful show so far. I want you to know that slideshow animation, I get to do one every week with the photos and stuff that Miko and Vic do. And they're turning out the photos. We're uplifting stuff to the site. So, and the song is my latest song. I'm in love with that song by Love Shadow, and it's free. That means it's free. You can go get that right now at dig.cc Mixter 247, and it's spelled not the number 2, TWO 4, then the word 7, featuring Scomber, whoever that is. But it was a wonderful song, and I wanted to let you know that you can go get it free. We're part of that movement, the Creative Commons movement, where artists make their music available to you for free. You can share it with your friends legally, and they just retain their commercial use rights. Weed update. Today I'm smoking blueberry cookies. As you may have recalled from the previous morning coffee shows, I had purchased some blueberry cookies, where at my dispensary, the smoke one, I think it's 3010 South Vermont, right down the street from USC, at the smoke one dispensary in the ghetto, they had it they keep calling it a sativa. And I told you when I smoked it, when I got it, that I said, this sure doesn't feel like a sativa. It's more, it definitely had some indica qualities, but I really liked it. It turns out when you look it up online, they call it a hybrid, a sativa-dominated hybrid. In other words, it's a combination,
Right.
more sativa,
Got it.
which is what it feels like. It's wonderful, about a whole half an ounce. Just like I'm just telling you. You got to see this stuff, the structure. All right. What you know, weed in the hood. Okay, everybody, so this is now time for part 2. Now, part 2 of this show, Vic, I wanted you to know, because you don't tell me nothing either, by the way. That's why we keep it fresh. We go to the broadcast, we let each other know tentatively, even when I set up his visuals and stuff. I mean, when he really sets them up, I just check everything. So we don't need the prep. But I was thinking about, since I was going to this surgery, as you get older, you start reflecting. Lack of sex makes you a little crazy. Like I said, I forgot we had that air conditioner on.
Well, he was quiet until he got crazy.
Man.
He started getting crazy. Man.
Okay. So as you get older, you start to reflect on things. And one of the conversations I had recently as I was hanging out with different friends, I had a conversation with another old friend, friend of mine, former lover, about who I had been for the last 30 years and how that comes to bear with Pax Stereo. Because even though she's known me all this time and she knows a lot of my philosophies and things, it's always, I think, a revelation to my friends why I do this. Because they really, we've been broadcasting live weekly since 2008. Weekly. By 2010, I had uploaded over 6,000 videos. Victor, I started working on internet television in 2005 when we were one of the first on YouTube. I was one of the people that was emailed to test YouTube when it launched. And I was amazed with the simple concept that they were going to let me store my videos online for free. Remember that, Victor? I used to cost me $320 a year for one video.
Oh, I
to
remember.
be online.
Right.
So I had 2
Right.
videos.
Yeah, man, that was a big deal back then, man.
And, I had 2 videos online because it was $300 some bucks. It was like $160 every 6 months, And so it was done differently. Things were done differently. So we had to go through a lot of growth and change. But that's still, in telling that story, and my friends who knew it and participated, there still was the issue as to the whys. In some ways, the relevance is always an issue, it seemed, because it didn't seem that my philosophies on doing these things were being embraced universally at all. And so Victor, who knew me and had known me, and some of those particular personality traits, we discussed in the early days of Pax Stereo who we were trying to be. I didn't warn Vic about this conversation per se, so I hate to put him on the spot, but of course I will. Vic, you remember when we were first started, we were trying to decide how we were going to represent, because there was that throwover from the old days. How did you see that whole moment in time when we were, because we talked about it, because I didn't want to do something that would not make money, that was just philanthropic to help. I mean, you could be unreasonable. It will come to this, but how did you see all that at the time, Vic, with this beginning to start?
I always thought it was about the relationships associations you're going to develop, and I always thought that, and then knowing where you're at and what you don't do, and then when you're inspired by something new, as many people are today, say with the devices, the mobile phone, and what you can do with empowerment. Everybody gets to be what they call creative, self-identify, individual. Look at what I'm doing, the whole thing. What we were doing was we're going to be implanting this place where people could take full advantage of it. I believed at the time there was going to be an indie push with people with like minds. Before the mobile phone stuff started coming around, because most of the time people were using mobile phones just for one or two areas, not for the whole look at me, pictures, all that stuff hadn't to come along. I believe, first of all, you're not going to get celebrities. I said, you either pay to play. And you know what I mean by that. And I said, you're not going to get the celebrities. So just, if you're not in the game already with a relationship in the industry or what have you, they're going to hold accountable that we would rather be in charge looking like we have been trailblazing this than you. So even if you're able to do it, what's in it for us? And I kept asking that question. I said, just because you can do it doesn't mean that they're going to go kumbaya. No, they're going to sit back and go like this. We need to look like we invented it before you got there, even though you were there before we were in your implementation. I thought the people on this I kind of felt this kind of triangle thing. Thought that the top cats you're not going to even be able to deal with, and that the downside of people are going to be bitter, meaning that this is how the industry treated us. Who the fuck are you guys? That's how I felt. I said, then there's going to be this line down here where it's going to be this indie push where people are not going to even look at them. They're going to be creative and they're going to explode. You need to have that tie into them. What we were doing is we're going to empower those who are the OGs, the ones on the cusp, who need this. They're going to really like this. This is where Mario felt. And I go like this. I said, I don't see them at all. I see them going like, who are you? So that's a side. So I believe the same thing happened with the indie push. Everybody's going to go like, well, everybody else ain't doing this. Who are you? And I said, it's going to be all about the relationships with people being on board with what we're doing. And if there's not I've heard a lot of this when people were going like this. I don't understand why a lot of people are not coming to you guys or viewing. I said, they're going, who are you? Relationships. When the relationships come, and then the people who don't have relationships go like this. Here's the money. Put me on. Here's the money. Syndicate me. Here's the money. Money rules everything around me. So I believe the altruistic view was, and I said this to you, I said, it'll take us 10 years. So back in that time, I said, mark down 10 years. That's where I was at that time, man.
We wanted to do an indie thing that was different in the sense that we were definitely, okay, and at least this, we didn't want to rip anybody off. We wanted to stand for something. We needed to figure out the best ways to handle those things financially, because even as a record label, it was never quite figured out, right?
Right.
As an indie music label, we released 9 CDs. The slogan was no slavery. No one was signed to Pax Stereo. We owned music projects, not people. So everybody was free. And the issue was what percentage of the track was owned, who administrated the tracks and the CDs. But we believed in this. And this was, I spent $3,000 in like how many times did I have contracts drawn up that we ultimately scuttled every single one?
Right.
Because I wanted to do something different. And it's so funny when you talk to attorneys about this stuff, they said, Doc, I get it, but we not used to working like that. We work for you.
Right.
You're telling us to give away things.
Right.
That's the way they told me. I said, well, I don't think the label should own a bunch of these things.
Right.
Even now, when I talk to my young people in film, Candace Renee Rice is successful today on the Floribama series. And I talked to Candace, 25, beautiful, you can go check her out, about me wanting to do things differently in video, in terms of collaboratives, how you pay people, revolutionary stuff. It always shocks everybody they know have answered because no one does that and they don't know how to do it. You gotta ask them for their opinion and they don't know how to do it. Candace is my friend, my buddy. She said, that's very interesting, but she's 25. She don't know, and she works within the industry. Like I said, she's on Floribama, but that's like talking French to her. So and I talked to Candace about helping us with that, Vic. I said, Candace, I want to put together a panel and talk about if you were to build the dream collaborative to produce products, how would you handle the money?
Right.
Everyone's going to talk to you about that and maybe getting the folks from the Oracles,
Right.
Lynn Turman,
Right.
you know, and all the folks, get them back. And to do something like that, to talk about that, because that's the way we are. See, that's part of who we are. I wanted you to understand that because that is part of the frustration, but it is fundamental to Pax Stereo. You need to know the ways in which Victor and I are revolutionaries and the things that we care about, and maybe even more importantly, the things we don't care about. I have never been motivated by money, even though I wanted to be successful, but I was in search of excellence, which is what we're going to talk about later on, because my father used to tell me, and I bought into this, he said, if you are excellent, you always get paid.
True.
Just be excellent. I did the same thing with medicine. I tried to be the best doctor in the immediate radius and then some.
Right.
Running LA County's ICU as faculty. So I sought to be amongst the best. And so that has been the motivation for Pax Stereo too.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we've been trying to fail you all, is that we've been trying to succeed in ways that are different and unique. See what I'm saying? I've always wanted to be successful. I just didn't want to be successful by ripping off people, taking advantage of the weak. I didn't need to do that. I felt like I didn't need to prostitute myself in terms of values for $1. So the thing I used to tell, you know, some of my friends back in the music label days is, I'll never steal from you. On the other hand, I'm not going to go in some of the directions you may want to go. You may want to go. That's why we have no slavery and you are free to pursue whatever you want to pursue. And so here we find us today. And that's why, to me, because of that conversation I had with my friend, who's known me for years, and her still trying to understand what we were trying to accomplish. Now, Vic, did it make you feel a little worried that I was all into this, you know, altruistic, spiritual journey thing? Because I always felt like Vic was the steadying force, you know. Like when I was talking about going to get all the indie artists, remember I said, let's go get all the oldie artists.
And that's why
Vic
I said, no.
Now this is not going to be our main income.
No disrespect. No disrespect. You have to have tears, you know, and no disrespect, because you're literally saying. See, to me, I believe you have to have conversations with groups and people before you do that. The show and tell people who are born with this are going like, oh, show me. You ain't got to talk a lot. But if you're going to target certain groups, in which you were targeting, You were.
I was a record enthusiast who loved my artists of the past, and I dreamed of helping them.
And I
dreamed of helping them become online.
Right. It's like Silicon.
We did it for the watch profits.
Silicon Valley has a culture. Now, some of it ain't too cool, but how they go about what they do, and we won't get into the negative side of it, but how they embrace their culture and cultivating the people that surround them, a whole different environment. I said, you got to go around the old indie record label cast and go like, how many of them feel like they've been taken advantage of? How many of them sat back and said, okay, everybody was trying to steal? How many of them sat back and said, oh, look at what was happening? I said, you're going to be the new cat on the block? And they're going to go like this. So you're going to tell me, you're going to sit in front of them, that they've been sitting in front of people going like, I got your back. And I said, how's he going to think you different?
It was rough.
How you
okay, so because of this and me loving the indie artists, I'm just giving you why we are where we are.
Not the young. Not the young.
It wasn't the young, that's to say, because I'm old. It was all these oldie artists y'all would call. And it was my dream to help them jump to the internet and reassert themselves and all this. I shot a video of the Emotions, remember that? Mm-hmm. And did a bunch of stuff. So at one point, Vicky was managing how many MySpace? How many MySpace profiles were you?
Somewhere between 65, 70.
And how many MySpace friends do we have?
We're short of 500,000.
Remember that. And then this is the shocker. Okay, because you guys, okay, this is painful now. I'm gonna tell you a story. So I had this idea, of how to attract people. I told Vic, I could buy the URL for their name, like even, MichaelJackson.com, OJs.com, all of this.com, all of these. I could buy that, make channels for that, connect it all. So it was a website with the channel built in. All this is the latest technology, social media at the time, photos and stuff. And then I would contact the artists and offer to just give it to them, all of that. Just give it to them, turn it all over, just for any promotional considerations. Whether to take a picture, a short video, right?
Yeah.
This is exactly what I asked for, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Vic, how many did I those channels?
Zero, man. Zero.
How many did I build?
Zero. I mean, you built 300.
I built 300.
Right.
300. Vic, I spent $15,000 on URLs. It took me a long time to be able to say it. Let's let it sink in. It took me a long time to say this. I spent $15,000 on URLs. No one, some of them liked it, like Harvey Mason when I built his. Remember, Harvey loved it. Harvey Mason, world-class drummer, famous, produced everything. He loved it. He said, but Doc, I don't know what to do. He said, I don't know what to do. He said, there were certain people who loved it. Great idea. He was like, man, it's a great idea. Because I told him my idea is I just want to meet people. I just want us to meet people. I figured I would meet you, offer to give you everything I set up, just sign it over to you. All I wanted was the promotional picture. No one, absolutely zero. Gnarls Barkley sued me. And I fought him just to see what the process was like. I said, I got enough money and attorneys to fight you, asshole. Because his attorney was talking to me like I had a tail. And I said, listen, bitch. For one, you're an attorney because you couldn't get in medical school.
Oh, the B word. Here it comes.
Okay, I'm just saying. I had to I showed you the side. I'm saying Gnarls Barkley attorney got nasty with us. I said, dude, we're trying to give it to you. You don't have the right to give us shit. I said, okay, I'll just take you to court. I said, dude, I got money and lawyers probably better than you. Where did you graduate?
You gotta go to. You gotta go to.
So I was in his ass. I was like, "Where did you graduate? What's your law school? What was your class ranking? You think I'm scared of you?" Man, we had it out, and so I said, "I'm gonna go through this just to see what the process is like. I want to learn." And so we went through, they put it in this mandatory arbitration shit and just gave them the URL. I said, oh, so that's all that happens. No wonder this is bullshit.
Well, they know the art of negotiation. It's the pop. Look, and I'm saying this. They said he had
$15,000.
Wait a minute. He had a good point. He says, it's one thing when you're offering me what options. So they don't include the option that I don't have to have the offer.
That's what I'm saying.
See, that's,
Hey, so but if he had not been rude like other people, if he had just been reasonable, I would have said, okay, thank you, sir, I'll disconnect.
but you're talking about the record industry, right?
Yeah, so he tried to get all
Right.
threatening and like he was supposed to be intimidating
And I
me or
tried-
some shit.
and I-
said, dude, I'm the man who gets the tube. If I get the tube in or the baby's dead, you think you're pressuring me?
Right.
Shit.
But they don't know that. But see,
They found out.
But see, but what do we learn from this? The art of winning the argument didn't become profitable. That's part of what
And nothing was, it was a waste, $15,000.
It wasn't profitable.
$15,000.
That's why
$15,000.
I was so glad to bail out of that particular industry, not because it wasn't profitable. It's because it wasn't affectionately the area of I believe, our greater strength. I truly believe. I said, no, you know what? You ain't got time for this bullshit, Mario. I said, until you sit back and go, I need better associations and talent. They're not disrespecting what we've done. I said, you want to get in there with the Hungry Tigers? But there was a benefit.
We learned a lot of shit.
Wait a minute. There was one person who said, I think I got it. Let's approach it. And she was approaching it. And you know what I'm talking about. Tina. She was
that's
on
right.
her way. So
And
she
Phil
got it.
Perry and
Phil
Tina-
Perry
and Tina Marie.
So they were growing up with it too, seeing it
Right.
come, and they were
Gary Taylor.
They were willing to take the
Gary
risk.
Taylor, because
Right.
they're asking me
Right.
about Gary Taylor's story. Us
Right.
and Gary Taylor.
Right.
Indie artist Gary Taylor.
Right, so-
one of our Tina Marie.
Right. But was it profitable? Because look how much you had to do for them. You
For
literally
them, it
did.
was
Right.
reasonable because it was easy to fix. Tina
Right.
Marie came. I met Tina Marie because of Danielle Holland, who was a wonderful friend of mine who I love and who I was involved with at the time. And she was part of the whole original. You see her in a bunch of the early shows. So she introduced me to Tina Marie. Tina Marie had been trying to get her website fixed for 6 months. I fixed it overnight. And I did not stay up. I was smoking a bunch of weed. So I fixed her stuff. And Tina was like, I've been trying. I said, it's some kind of people. They mess around. I fixed it. And so we talked about her about shooting rehearsals. And that's why one of the shows that we did is Victor shooting her rehearsals. I actually got to sit at her house while she was cooking us lunch. This is a dream. And we were talking, because I know all the music is, and we were talking, and something I said, she jumped up and ran to the piano and started to play a song. And I was like, everybody just hold it for a second. Let me just take this in. Mm-hmm. This is so wonderful, I don't know what to do. And she came and did a show with me, an hour and 20 minutes here, and played her guitar. And I had every album on my lap.
Yep.
So Tina Marie was a wonderful chance. The videos are up there. There's a full live concert at the Bonelli Park. And they never let you film at these events. You can hear on the video telling the security, leave him alone, he's with me. She personally made them let Vic in to shoot the video. In blazing ass heat.
Yeah, it was hot, bro. It was hot.
So Victor Allen has been there for that too, and is the one who captured Phil Perry. We did a whole series with him that's available too. Trying to attempt to help artists make that jump to the internet, trying to encourage them to use these new forms of commerce. See, I was already a physician, you guys. It was my goal to impact the world, to make a change, and specifically to help those artists that I had loved all these years, who I felt had many cases had been taken advantage of and never had profit, to help to provide a new chance for them to do something. For the most part, they didn't get it. And Gary Taylor, who, I'll tell you a quick Gary Taylor story too, who came to us, he told me, he said, the problem with a bunch of them, he's the one who introduced us to Vesta Williams. Gary Taylor said they don't own anything and they can't say or do anything. They don't own any of their own stuff.
Right.
Because Gary owned all of his own stuff. That's the thing about Gary Taylor. He owned all of his own stuff.
Right.
And he's another person who, he came over here with all these problems. He couldn't get the website commerce set up.
Right.
He had a video, he needed to cut it up into different sections with the different songs. He's having trouble with that. He was referred to us on MySpace by Bobby Carson, one of my good friends. So Gary Taylor came over here after he checked me out. He said, I already checked you out. And I still started to tell him about us. And Victor said, I remember Victor said, did you hear what he said? He said he already checked us out. Because I was still talking about, he said, no, I want to do everything. So I fixed Gary. Gary Taylor left here about 9. I think he came over and stayed a bunch of hours. I think he came over like 6 or 7. Stayed to almost 9, left. And I sent him an email about midnight saying, all your shit is fixed. Right. I said, it's fixed, the video's cut up, uploading it now. He was stunned, absolutely stunned. That's who we are at Pax Stereo. We have been seeking to empower. The reason I haven't worried about quote unquote money is I don't need that little nickel and dime money. See what I'm saying? I admit that's a little sport. In other words, I was already a physician. I didn't want to work for the little $30, $20 an hour. No way. I rather just, and I didn't want to jump around for a bunch of people. So I could, because I was a physician, I was able to do it my way. I paid for everything. I bought it, I built it, there you go. And so we could afford to be altruistic. The only thing was when I knew I had to, I was very glad to have Vic in this area also, because he understood me, because none of my friends were with me on this shit either. They're like, I had one friend saying, why is it your job to save the world? And I was like, I don't know. It just feels like I'm supposed to do these things. I didn't say I was trying to save the world, damn. I'm just saying I have a brother who has been very fortunate. Is it really that weird that I just want to do something right? And it basically was, everybody was like, oh yeah, it's that weird. And they still are like that. They're like, yeah, it's that weird. No one does. I asked Mac McAllister. I met Mac. Mac, I've been fixing Mac shit for how many years? I met Mac way back doing who does the retro jazz and blues show that we use as the pre-show. I met him years ago, and I declared, because he was 70-some years old and working on this shit, I declared I was his technical assistant. I just took the job. I just told Mac, well, I'm going to fix all your shit no matter what you do. Just, when you have a problem, you tell me and I'll go fix it. And that's our relationship.
Right.
Because I embraced him and his journey. And they say that about Pax Stereo. If you meet us and you have a dream, we ask you how you can help you fulfill that dream. Because usually the shit that they need from me, I can do in 15 minutes. You know how they need to do a video? Are you kidding me? How Vic and I go live in minutes. So doing videos, okay, but back to the altruistic thing, like Vic said. Where was the money making? And that is still part of the issue. Where is the money making?
Because they don't want to hear complaints. They want to hear solutions, man.
Well, now we have some.
You're talking to a different group.
See how Victor brings me back on.
You're talking to a different group. Talent is wonderful, but producers always think of cost.
Well, let me tell you this.
Cost ratio, man.
But here's this is what was predicated, and that's going to be in the part 3. It was sort of predicated on the conversations I would have with my father and the seeking of excellence. Because I felt if Vic and I became gurus, if we became leadership, if we performed thusly, we would gain fortune and notoriety. That really did work. We have over 15 million cumulative views. 15 million coming out of here. 15 million cumulative views. Have we made any money? Well, lots of money. I made lots of money. It's lots. It's dripping. You can tell by Vic's attire and my attire, the amounts of funds that here and the ladies that we hang with. You can tell that we have plenty of money going on in Pax Stereo. But here's the issue. We're being recognized. We're on IMDb. I can go show you. With Pax Stereo's now on Amazon TV. we were approached by Amazon when they expanded. Amazon actually sent me an email, one of their little form emails, but it was still us, with the 2 shows that they were interested in being Morning Coffee, I Victor.
They let you know somebody's watching, right?
That's what they wanted to be.
Yep.
So, and they are very stringent, but they were, and I had an ongoing relationship because for the music label, we have 9 CDs on iTunes and also at Amazon. Here's the page. Here's the page. So this is the Pax Stereo at Amazon page. See, it's still in the coming together. It's got the 2 videos. Take a look. Victor Allen. Man, I just got to get this. Where is that? Okay, Victor Allen right here, which I think it looks wonderful. They even say the video, the graphic looks like Victor running.
Yeah, I was running.
Hey, Vic, if they buy episode, we get to split $1.99.
You know what? You just got.
Come on, yo, buy episode. Be one of the first.
See what he's doing?
Be one of the first to buy episode.
He takes it and says, depreciate the value of what we're doing.
No, I think the fact that, first of all, we're going to be on Amazon Prime. That exposure is wonderful, you guys. They're paying you about 6 cents, between 6 and 15. See, I like to let you know the real. Between 6 and 15 cents per view, which we're not sure still what a view is. They have to watch the whole thing, half a thing, quarter thing, start the thing. What is a view? Because they change that all the time. But they're going to pay you between 6 and 15 cents a view for the first 100,000. If you got 100,000, that would be $6,000 for the first 100,000. Mm-hmm. And it goes up incrementally each 100,000.
Right.
So go watch, but if you buy, that's just for viewing on Amazon Prime. But they're basically, I don't have it right, I don't remember exactly, but it's almost a split, but I'll get the exact numbers for you. When you buy, it's a different split.
Right.
And also we get to have our own channel that they subscribe to.
Right.
With the 2 videos that we have.
Yeah, the pending videos that are.
We have 35
more
episodes.
Right.
That I'm working on right now. The Oracles is up there. It looks so wonderful. And I do. Look, we got 5 stars, and I had to write all these descriptions. And look at these names: Victor Allen, Mario Hemsley, Reginald T. Dorsey. Here, if you buy it, it's $9.99.
And notice your good friend Candace will always be connected to that production.
Oh, and Miko, they right here.
Right. So the part
IMDb.
that works for is that sometimes where's the lesson? There's lessons where you always do this, man. You always say, look, this is going to be a valuable show because I'm about to share your information. And at the end of the day, they say, can you just give me the product? Let me go buy it, right?
Well, here's the thing. That's the
it.
good news. All of you can go and apply to be on Amazon with your product. You can do it. You can do this. We've never held that secret. Again, part of what we did for so many years was try to convince indies to do exactly this. Also, the classic artists that we knew, oldie artists, we tried to convince them to do these things too, because we thought these were the growing revenue streams that they could take advantage of. So we thought that. So that's where we are right now. Where we are right now is we've got tremendous recognition by YouTube and Amazon. Amazon is treating us pretty nice. I'm in the process of getting weekly the Morning Coffee and the I Victors up on Amazon weekly. The whole thing is how fast can I get everything processed for them? It's not the same as the other processing. And you got to do all this stuff. But that's okay. It has the graphics, very specific items in terms of how you write it up, everything. So I'm trying to get the weekly episodes up weekly. That's a bunch of work right now because you have to get a transcription of it. It has to. They got to have captions. One of the big stumbling blocks for folks is you have to have captions and they have to be accurate. When you turn in those captions, if there's error in the captions, Amazon has emailed me 8 times with issues in the captions that the caption peoples will go back and fix. At least they go back and fix it, and then we submit it again. So they're looking at all that. So those captions that get done at YouTube automatically on your videos are horrible, full of errors, and they won't even take that shit for a minute. Don't even try it. Just forget it. So we're getting captions done, and we submit weekly. So that's coming. So we are also involved in all the Google, YouTube pay. We're where everybody pays. IMDb, YouTube, Amazon, where everybody pays. We are part of every single program. And I'll just be reporting on it to you. And as you know, we have a cumulative 15 million views in the past that didn't pay us anything, but got us notoriety. Okay? So, Victor, I think the future looks good for folks like Pax Stereo because now, and to see a lot of stuff has happened. In this world today, they are recognizing people who produce video shorts for the web. They're recognizing that. That means you could do one or two really good, funny videos that get a lot of views and get noticed and fame. The path to that notoriety is now there as a potential viral event, right? So you could put out some stuff and get known. So that's there. And then the commerce is built in. I told you it ranges between 6 to 15 cents. That means per 100,000 views. That means at the most, right?
Right.
It's 15,000 for the 100,000, and the other one is 6.
Well, look, the information is going to be linkable. Is it available to the public?
It's available to the public.
There
You
you
got to
go.
make some effort to look.
That's right.
But it's there.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to take a quick musical segment. Then we're going to come back and give you the part 2.
No,
Excuse
you
me,
just
part
did.
3.
Yeah, you did part 2.
This is part 3.
Of who we are.
Well, now we get to the conversations with my father,
Right.
which is actually explains why I had all those altruistic.
You gonna play Luther Vandross music?
No, okay, it's a strategic. It's
Hey man.
it's a strategic. You can't do that. I want to play "Where Do We Go," because that's the one I really love to play sometime. Where do we go? Alexa, play "Where Do We Go" by Love Shadow. Can't find it.
I can't find Where Do We Go by Love Ship.
Really? See, Vic, that's the problem with this technical stuff.
It's okay, man.
You can't find it when you want it, and you're supposed to be finding it here.
It's okay.
Where do we go? The MIB mix.
True.
Love, the electrifying.
Let's take a quick break.
Between two
We'll be right
people
back, and I'll
feeling
explain to you
deep,
why I have the
charismatic, compelling,
disease of altruism.
creating a union.
See, I kept that short. I only left a little time for that.
Shining a light.
I didn't know we were doing it
Shedding a
tomorrow.
film.
I told you it was over the how long we
From love arises.
Loving that chat room, though. Thank you, guys.
Sending the world a message in a bottle. There is more to show. As the love grows and kicks into full throttle, the fused unit produces a message
And everything's
that
working
becomes
technically.
a more powerful whole, even more powerful
Hi, Sarah.
than the love in full.
We go here, we go there, we go where we think we'll find it. Again we search until we see how it is. We'll never be free, 'cause we make goals, we make plans, we make love, we take stands, 'cause we know our time is short. We make the best of what we bought. But tell me where do we go with our broken hearts? Oh, tell me where do we go with our broken hearts?
What the?
I love it. You gotta turn off your notifications, man.
We go there. we search until we see that we will never be free. But where? But tell me where?
I knew that we were talking.
I can show.
The way I knew what I was going to ask, I knew where we were talking. When I got rather than those conversations I had with people, I got out of this world. This is what we really represent in a nice halfway That's what I wanted. So we had a lot of advice. I was still answering a lot of it.
But tell me where? Tell me where do we go from broken hearts? Tell me where do we go from broken hearts?
Oh man, you guys, that was wonderful. Love Shadow again. Where do we go? The MIB mix. Hey, listen, the chat room, you guys, I love the chat. Mac was talking about the new chat. We put in this new chat functionality. You know where we got it is that it's a product that gamers use. People who are gaming online, they like to be able to have the chat on the screen while they're shooting it up and da, da, da. So it was a technology that I learned about and looked at, and because of that, I decided to try using it a different way because I thought it was interesting. I told Vic, and usually when I tell Vic, and we know it's, you know, there's certain things I say, man, I think this is interesting. He said, man, it's really interesting. So we went with it crazy.
Right.
And so that's why you're seeing that chat overlay. Now, that when we publish to Amazon, we don't use that, but the other ones that go out to Facebook and all that, they have the chat overlay. So if you want your chat to be seen, just chat at a different space. If you chat on Facebook, because of Facebook's limitations, it doesn't show up in that stream, okay? But if you chat in our watch and any of our other places, your chat appears on the screen, so you get a chance to talk to the world. And that's where, again, we are revolutionary. Other people, first of all, too scared to even try stuff like that. And Vic and I were like, how could we not? This is some great stuff. So take a look at that chat. See how you guys are liking it. I know Smack and them are using it a lot. And again, it recognizes another area. Remember, that's what we do. Our broadcast machine is radio station software that we use to do video streaming. See? In ways that are different, unique, but it's essentially simple. So this represents, again, the same kind of progress. Part 1, Part 2, and now Part 3. Part 3 is different again because we told you in Part 2 why we are and why we did stuff, but I kind of need you to kind of understand how we got here in the sense of how I ended up with the mentality. And so I thought maybe I would tie that into something else I'm working on, which is about remembering conversations with my father. Because you need to understand who my parents were to really understand a lot about who I am. We are so much a product of them, and I'm no different. But I think understanding the background would make it seem much more reasonable to understand why I'm obsessed with the things that I'm obsessed with and why I did the things that I did. So it starts with my parents. My mother is the product of a 15-year-old who I guess was impregnated at 14 by the next door neighbors who father at the next door neighbor.
Right.
So So that my mother was born in rural Florida. Well, not really rural, but New Smyrna.
Right.
You just ain't bumping, you know what I'm saying? But New Smyrna, a small town. She was born the out of wedlock child to a 15-year-old, half Chinese.
Right.
Now, I don't know what you all know about Florida today, but Florida then was an interesting, bigoted place, certainly stewing in racism. My mother, within that town, thrived to the point by the time she was in high school, she was a known athlete. She was writing for the local paper in a little column. She was very much recognized as this unique, because you know, black people, we feel a little different when you mix with stuff. Right, Vic?
Yep.
I know, so my mama was beautiful. Mixed, growing up in here, but there was racism. She never went into a library till she got to college at Bethune-Cookman, which is in Daytona Beach, not too far away, where she had a scholarship. My mother went on to play, I think she lettered in basketball, track, and tennis. She was supposed to go to the Olympics, but because she ended up marrying my father, back then they wouldn't let you go to the Olympics if you were married. And so my mother, who wanted to get married, didn't want to wait, decided to marry my father and to forgo her attempts to go to the Olympics. They met, my father and her met at Bethune-Cookman. My father, who had been somewhat of a problem person at school, repeated the 12th grade. In the summer off between the repeat, he told me he worked unloading bags of sugar. And he said this in these hot Philadelphia summers, that when the white man that was in control of the conveyor belt was in a bad mood, he sped it up. He sped it up. And you would have all the black men huffing and puffing. He says that's when he knew he was going back to school. Mm-hmm. He said, that's what my father said, son, that's when I knew. You have those moments. Mm-hmm. He said, when that white man sped that conveyor belt up, yep. He said, I'm going back to school. My father ended up getting a scholarship to Bethune-Cookman, where, because he was an athlete and he was a playing on the basketball team, they traveled with the girls' team, the women's team, which my mother was on playing basketball. And my mother told me that my father would impress her by reading her poetry on the bus as they traveled.
That's so cool.
My father's best friend was legendary basketball player and coach John Chaney. In fact, he was the best man at my parents' wedding. He was my father's roommate at Bethune-Cookman. Because I laugh at all these, these things. My mother, by the way, both of them loved Mary McLeod Bethune, the founder of that college, so much that my father named his medical center that he opened in Compton the Bethune Medical Center. That was my father. And that was my mother. Humble beginnings. Both, my father's parents both worked doing domestic labor. As far as I know, I've never been told anything more than that. So it was from those humble beginnings that which I came. My father was ultimately admitted to Jefferson Medical School. I believe he was the third or fourth. I forget, my mother, I'm supposed to know that, black to graduate. And what happened was my father, who essentially aced everything in college, and my mother would work in the summers at a resort in Virginia.
Right.
Where they would go work there, waiting tables, you'd live there. You make a bunch of money. My mom said you would make your money for the whole year in that summertime to pay for your schooling, your supplies, everything.
Right.
So both my parents would go there and work. One night while waiting tables there, my father came upon one of the, I guess he was the, what do you call it? He was an old alumni from the medical school at Jefferson. And he was impressed with my father's ways, whatever, enough to have a conversation with my father about his, somehow I just came out, what are you going to do? My father said, I intend to go to medical school. And the man was so amazed to have a black waiter tell him that. He says, what do you mean you plan to go to medical school? My father said, well, I'm pre-med, I've had good grades, and I'm applying to medical school. And the man was like, really? You have that? My father went to his room and got his grades and his papers and brought it back to the man, who was so impressed that he contacted the folks at Jefferson Medical School, and they admitted my father.
There you go. Who you know, right? Who you know?
My father's had to work while he was at medical school because he couldn't afford, he told me, son, I had this old broken down microscope, and it was like the second day, and the professor said, came to look at my microscope because we were looking at slides, and he was like frowning. He says, Mr. Hemsley, only the best is good enough. And my father was like, molded with his old microscope, broke down because he couldn't afford the other. And he had to work many times after school, waiting tables to get through medical school. Unheard of. My mother worked too, and had my brother and I. We were all in Philadelphia in the beginning. After medical school, my father got his residency here in Los Angeles. My mother's told me the other choice was Cook County Hospital in Chicago. She said, well, we could have been in Chicago. Your daddy wanted to go to Los Angeles, and here we came. Because back then, this was the chosen land. My mother made a playpen in the back seat of the car and we drove out here. So I gave you that background because I want you to understand this next story about the conversation with my father. And I wanted to make it sound good. I want you to feel good about him. Because I'm going to tell you how he drove me crazy, but also was responsible for every success I've ever had, my mother and my father. I owe everything to them. But like good parents, they drive you crazy. They can't be, if they didn't bug you with some shit, they really probably you couldn't have got along with your parents that good, okay? They gotta bug you because they're parents and you're trying to do dirt. Unless you were Jesus, the one child or something, you weren't doing any dirt, and I was doing dirt. So I wanted you to have that background on my parents and their humble beginnings, because that has everything to do with how they raised me. And that's a whole different story. It's a whole different pace, everything. And I wanted you to understand them and love them, because I understand and love them too for their humble beginnings. And they reinforced into me the value of those things. That's why my father named his medical center, his office, Bethune Medical Center. And my mother, the way they did things and the way they impacted me. So let me bring you to the present. Well, not the president, but just where it started. When my father worked his ass off in LA County, worked out, became a specialist, board certified obstetrics gynecology. And my father was known as the doctor's doctor. Even back then, he said, son, I would go over to pathology and get slides done on my projects. No one else did that. When it came time to do my report, I always had more. I always had more. More report, more slides, better prepared. So this I'm telling you, because this has to do with how he got me to be. Always extra. No matter what other people do, you don't come with what other people come with. That's the beginning. That's where you start. So he was known as a black physician. He was known as the physician's physician. This impacted me. I can tell you, when I was at LA County, working my ass off, I had my father as my legacy. Usually at about 4 o'clock in the morning, you might have a little break, 4 to 6, before you had to get ready for morning report at 7. I didn't go to sleep. I read up on my patients. I read up on the disease they had. It took 20 minutes or so each thing. I read up on all the drugs. I took a quick shower, put on a fresh shirt and tie. So when the attendees came in, I was standing there like, you were like, one time it was like, well, who was on call? So I was on call. They were like, you were on call? I said, you like call? I said, sir, a chance to admit is a chance to learn. And my attendee said, oh, shit. And just laughed. He liked, they liked me. I remember my boss pulled me aside early when I was an intern. He pulled me aside and said, yeah, Hemsley, you got potential. Half of your classmates ain't worth a damn. But you got potential. So I want you to know, I'll be watching you. Have a good day. I just stood there. He even admired my goals of practicing in Compton. He used to say, we want people who want to be here. Everybody don't want to be in LA County. We want people who want to be here. This is some shit. So I was like that as a doctor too. But all that I was to tell you about my father. Because this is conversation with my father. Because I want you to understand how he bugged the shit out of me. And ultimately led to the success of Pax Stereo TV. When I was in medical school, the first semester I stayed with my father up on the hill in Baldwin Hills. I'm in medical school, first semester. My father's already acclaimed doctor. I'm stressed the fuck out, okay? You know what kind of shit my father said to me? He said, son, I need to do my more review, because he carried around tapes in the cars. You gotta listen to your medical tapes.
Right.
Read the, you gotta use the modern technology, son. I listen to the tapes, I get courses.
Right.
I go through the courses. And so my father said, I'm so glad you're in medical school, son. You know what? I could use some general medical review. I tell you what, why don't we pick a disease, we read up on it, then we go out to dinner and talk over the disease. I said, hell no. Hell, Dad. Oh. Who wants to do that while they're getting their ass kicked in medical? Go out to with your father and discuss a disease. But I want you to understand, see, that's my father. You understand the kind of physician he was. He was like, he didn't understand why they want to do that. You don't think that's a good idea? No, not my idea of a fun Saturday, which I don't have no damn time anyway. But at the same time, I lived with my father. The other kind of influence, like I was cleaning the bathroom because, he wanted everything clean. We had a housekeeper. We still wanted everything clean. So I'm cleaning the toilet. My father comes up behind me and says, son, cleaning a toilet is a much more intimate experience than that. You need to get all down around the toilet. Reach all around the back. Get all around those screws. Yeah, get down. That's how you clean a toilet. But I want you to understand, this is the way my old man was. His office in Compton, when I was 16 and wanted to get my first car, he was like, he said, I wanted all my friends up here in Baldwin Hills, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. We're getting all these cars, because I live in the black bourgeois area. Everybody was getting cars and shit. My old man was like, I know, son. You want to go outside, see the car, the big old bow. Top of the car, just sit out there shiny, beautiful. Yeah, over my dead, lifeless body. Hell no, never, ever. I was like, my bubble burst. He said, I'm gonna get you the worst piece of shit that's safe, because you're gonna respect things. And we ended up getting this used bug. Here in Baldwin Hills, I gotta have the junkiest car. I'm in the most bourgeois black folks in America, but I got the beat up bug and shit with the carpet, the leather, with the leopard rug spread over the torn up back seat. I was like, Dad.
Welcome to the club.
Vic, like I said, I know I just started living on the hill. I was supposed to have some shit.
You do. You have your father.
Where I lived in View Park now, Vic's has been doing a story on this historically black area. I live in View Park. High now. Value going up, dealing with gentrification. When I moved up here, it's so funny, now they talk about historically black area, and I remind people that I'm so old, when I moved here, it was white. I was the second black family on my block. The first was the Dolphins, of the famous Dolphins of Hollywood. They were the first. We were the second black family. My mother looked at 5 houses on the same street because the white folks were moving. They didn't play with me. They mostly ignored me. I never had any incidents. I just got mostly ignored. The house has a pool. People say, oh, you grew up a house with a pool. Oh, you lucky, you privileged. And I tell people, I told you about my father, right? Let me tell you, do you think my father hired a pool man? My father pointed to my brother and I said, he said, I have 2 pool men. He had me cleaning that pool, sweeping that pool, checking the pH. You know, he had me mowing the lawn with an old push lawnmower. Vic and I talk about them old school black people, because Vic, you said you had to paint a house. How big was the brush?
Oh, you talking about when I had to scrape the paint. I had to scrape the paint with a little 1-inch wide blade. My father knew what he was doing. He says every summer. He said, no, you're going to chip away the paint with this. That's, if you're not going to summer school, you're not studying, the paint, chip it. And even if, and it goes into the next year, the same routine. He found something. And that was the one where I was going, I can't believe I'm doing this. You know, this is his
the
lesson.
way parents
That's how he did.
Yeah, that's how they did it.
Yeah, and it helped me go out and say, you have a choice. Go out there and start being entrepreneurial. So at 14, 15, I said, I'm gonna go start selling stuff. I'm gonna go help people. I'm gonna go cut grass. I'm gonna do everything because I ain't getting paid here. Okay, so this is the first thought. And what he did is implanted the motivation. He said, that means you can do it.
So that's the part I want you to understand about Vic and I. Even though we come from different income, situations. He's down at the bottom of the hill. I'm at the top of the hill. But then I still got the parents who got me like cleaning the pool and mowing the lawn. And I had to have the jacked up Volkswagen Bug while my friends were getting I knew people were getting brand new cars, you guys. Like in high school. I was like, damn, my dad, I knew he had the money in his pocket. He could get me a car. And he was like, It was I couldn't have a car when I went to Howard. First year, I couldn't have a car. I had to go and live in the dorm all these 4 years, and I couldn't have a car first year. And I told my dad I could get no dates. That's the only way I got a car. Plus, I made Dean's List. I made Dean's List and got no dates. Because they were no car. The girls got tired of being invited over to the dorm room. So anyway, the point of me giving you those conversations is for you to understand why Pax Stereo is who we are. We truly are dedicated to being something new and different. We're dedicated to transparency. I'm going to put together a panel of people to talk about how these cooperatives should be run. And we're going to make an effort to do something new and different together to build for the future as an alternative to the traditional ways of doing business. I will not ever replicate the policies that have existed for major media or the record labels. I'd rather go broke. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna rob from you. I'm not gonna steal from you. I'd rather go broke. So we're gonna find a way to do, first of all, Vic and I, we earn our money. We've embraced excellence. This broadcast that you're watching, I'm working 5 computers and 3 phones, and he's over there working his whole system with 3 switchers, 6 cameras. We're just doing stuff, you guys. So Pax Stereo is part of that. We are the new. So when you wonder who we are and why we do what we do, I know it's crazy and different. Like Vic said, the question was, who are you? If it's too good to be true that we have the attitudes and operating methodology that we do, you may understand it now after hearing that long-ass winded presentation on how we came about our stuff. But that's why we find ourselves where we are today. Okay. Any questions? Vic, any reflections that you want to say before we...
Oh, no, man. We're good. No, I'm just, a lot of topics out there. Didn't want to stray from what the focus was. So, this was good. It's more than I thought. I didn't think it was going to go with 3 separate subjects over the time. So
well,
I was
I only had 3 separate subjects, but I didn't know we were going to spend damn near 2 hours going over those.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's an empowerment thing. You motivated people. I believe the VIP from this show will now be Celeste.
Oh. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, Twitch. Thank you, folks. We are the new child of the 60s when the word brother was started to be used in a different way. Brother, sister. I believe in the metaphysical. My partner, we are examples of doing things in a different way. We know we are different. We will continue to be different, and we never will be the same. God bless us all on this journey. Come on, y'all. Pax Stereo. Come on, come on, come on.
Hey baby, won't you slow me right down, come and sit here next to me. You know there's something I just gotta say. I've been trying to find the right words to say this honestly. Somehow when I can find a way, 'cause I've been going crazy just thinking of you. You must be so tired, spending all your time running through my mind. I guess that I'm addicted to all that you do. I could call it love, I don't say enough about me and you. Every minute, every hour, every day, 247 got a hold on me. There's no better way that I could ever say it. 247 got a hold on me. I'm telling time for you good every day. 247 got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me. So baby, won't you take a look at me? Can't you see I'm all tied up? 'Cause I'm begging you for your touch, asking you for your hand. And I know that they're only words to you, and just words are not enough. But if you give me time inside, I know you'll understand. 'Cause I've been going crazy just thinking of you. You must be so tired, spending all your time running through my mind. I guess that I'm addicted to all that you do. I could call it love, I don't say enough about me and you. Every minute, every hour, every day, 247 got a hold on me. There's no better way that I could ever say it. 247 got a hold on me. I'm telling time for you good every day. 247 got a hold on me. Lock it up, lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me. Cause I've been going crazy just thinking of you. You must be so tired, spending all your time running through my mind. I guess that I'm addicted to all that you do. I could call it love, I don't say enough about me and you. Every minute, every hour, every day, 247 got a hold on me.
Thank you for being here.
There's no better way that I could ever say it. 247 got a hold
See you
on
next
me.
Monday.
I'm telling time for you good every day.
I'll wear my back brace.
247 got a hold on me.
There you go.
Lock it down, throw the key away. 247 got a hold on me.
Yeah.
Every minute, every hour, every day.
And we we gotta go to Killer Shrimp. You gonna like that, dude? What I had, man, they changed it. I'll let y'all know what's happening.
Anytime. Anytime.
People gonna love that one.
Oh, yeah. Don't say Killer Shrimp around Migos. She's gonna rope tie you.
Say something about HOtt, Pax Stereo TV. The Independents doing their thing. Neo-urban independent internet television. That's right. Independent neo-urban internet television. Thank you. Alexa, begin playlist broadcast transition.
Caught me right when we're going out. Thank
Your
you.
playlist,
Gotta get
broadcast
out of here.
transition, on Amazon Music.
Catch us.
Why is it on Amazon?